Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Daily High with your hosts, Matt McGregor and Tone Vase. Good morning, Tone. How are you, mate? This is going to be a lightning show today because the price is it at the spot it was at yesterday. Look at this. I think I have control over how that worked. Or did you touch something?
No, I did touch on.
Okay, this is going to be a lightning show today because the price is exactly where it was at yesterday. Some things have happened which are worth mentioning, but it's not worth whipping a dead horse about. Tone, how are you, mate? Good morning.
Morning. I'm drinking hot matcha here in a beautiful Rotan, Honduras. I'm still at the Bitcoin Center, but now I'm on the ground floor. I didn't want to go up to the rooftop. Just a little more scenery. Still very, very gorgeous. In the background behind me. Oops, let me do it this way. There I am. All right. So playing around with settings. You can see the ocean right there. And I may stick around here a few extra days. So it'll be fun. All right,
Yeah,
Matt, what do you see in the charts, brother?
All right, mate, let's crack on, eh? Look at this. We're on the 15-minute time frame. I'm going to be real brief today. In yesterday's show, we had what's the time? Maybe it was around 98,000. We'd had somewhat of a recovery, and remember that trade I was in from 96,128, which is this black line right here. I said that that had come down to like almost the point of entry. And I said last night, I'm setting a break-even stop or something like that. I promise you. And I didn't. And today, the price came down to exactly the same point. So I'm still in this trade. And a few hours ago, I was like, whoa, that's a happy accident that I'm still in this trade at $99,000. But now we're back at 97,000. And I promise you, dear ladies and gentlemen, if we come back down to 96,128, I am getting out of this trade. There's no way this is going to sustain 3 attempts at my point of entry. This is like the Truman Show sometimes. I feel like, sometimes it feels like the Truman Show, right? Is my trading so obvious that I just will take a trade at a breakout point and we'll come back and retest it? Is it a chicken and egg? Am I the lead character in this simulation and this keeps happening over and over again? Or am I just so generic as a man and a trader that I'm just choosing the most obvious trades? I don't know which one it is, but I'm not staying through this again. I don't want to go to bed right now without setting any stop loss and wake up in the morning and this thing's down at 94. And I had many, many chances to take 70%, 40%, 30%, 30%, and I took a loss on this trade. It's not happening. That's what I'm listening on the 15-minute time frame. Let's move up to see if there's any more clarity on the 4-hour time frame. This is just what I mean. It's not perfect, but it's in the same zone of we have the correction back down inside the wave, stay above the modified lucid stars. That's a really good buy. Come back and retest the moving averages, pull back down, come back and retest the moving average, the 30 simple again. We got a bit above it, but it's all relative, just like it was just above it here. Maybe there's another moving average that this is actually spot on. Maybe it's a one of these jiggers. Is that perfect? Yeah, pretty much, right? That's let me try and get that in. That really worked better than I expected. Look, I mean, whatever. I'm pushing the wrong button. You get the jive. That needs to break that descending line. Which would be great if it did, we come back, we regain this momentum here and break through that descending line that didn't want to go in for some reason, get above the 200, get above the 50, get above that 102, put in a higher high. We're all singing and all dancing, right? But it hasn't happened yet. So we're just like yesterday, just like the day before. I don't know. I think Tone summed it up beautifully in yesterday's show, and I hope he goes through it again today just briefly. The channel that he drew in saying this is a no trade zone, and that's fair enough, I reckon. The daily, same as yesterday, came back and retested the 7 simple moving average, faded today. It did it again. In yesterday's day, it did it. Today's day, perfect, 7 simple, fading again. Doesn't look good, right? Doesn't look good at all. Can recover, sure. But that's not good that it just keeps doing that, respecting the 7. We're on the wrong side of the 7. Just like on this, when we're above the 7, it comes back and retests it over and over again, but stays above it, kicks off it. This is kicking down off it. It's the opposite of what you want. So we'll see. I'm going to come off screen share now, Tone. Give me 1 second. I like the other Zoom, how we came off screen share, but this is fine. Look, it's the same as yesterday. It's the same as yesterday. Exactly the same. Groundhog Day all over again. Please like and subscribe. Please share it with your friends. Use the affiliate links in the description below. And Tone, give us something, mate. Give us something.
All right, let's see. Let's see if I have anything more useful to add. This is another view, by the way, we can use, which is not really useful, but it's an idea.
I
I'm
like turning
liking.
myself off, and then when I have something to
Yeah.
say, you'll see my little head pop up. So I don't have to. You guys don't know this, but on Zoom, when I wanted to say something to try and avoid cutting Tone off, which people really didn't like, I'm doing, I would put my hand up off screen and Tone would call me out. So now if you see me pop up,
Yeah, he's got something to say. By the way, Matt, you could also pop off and leave your mic on if you had to like say something. So you do that by turning off the camera, not turning off the thing.
Oh.
So you can click the camera button and turn that off instead of exiting both mic and audio.
I like disappearing, and then I can pick my nose and do my hair.
No, you also disappear with your camera, but not your mic. Just so there's another option.
Goodbye.
All right. So this is that channel that Matt was referring to. This is my channel of a no trade zone. This channel could actually be slightly lowered because we closed lower. So I am going to slightly lower this channel. And oh no, I put it there just for round number sake. That's what it was, 103. That is my channel of no trade zone. The current week went down. And I also drew this like wide mouth pattern. But the weekly chart is not interesting. The daily chart is borderline interesting. When I woke up this morning, and I'm going to go to the hourly chart for when I woke up this morning. I woke up this morning on this candle. I am in Honduras. It is 1 hour earlier than New York. So I woke up at 6 a.m. and we were right at the top of this candle, sitting at 99,000. And I was very, very happy. I didn't look at the chart, so I didn't know that we were above all the moving averages. But had I known that, I would have been even happier. We had broken the MRI resistance line. We had also did not reverse on the MRI 1 hour candle. Everything was looking great right there as that candle was ending. That is a perfect way to start your day. We've also made a new hourly closing high and probably even a new 4 hour closing high versus the day before. And all the potential goodness from this has completely deteriorated almost to the point of preparing a short trade. That is how badly things have deteriorated in the last 4 hours. So remember in yesterday's video when I said we have about a 36-hour window to reverse this ship in order to feel bullish going into the weekend? Well, now here we are 24 hours later. So what is 36 minus 24? Since Matt doesn't have his mic on, I'll do the hard math for you. It is 8 hours. Minus an hour because the show is late, that is 7 hours. We now have a 7-hour window, basically by the end of today's trading day, to get this price back above 98.5, capturing all of these 1 hour moving averages and closing the day within spitting distance of this early morning swing high. If we are not able to do that, we would now leave the daily candle hanging at the sub $97,000 low. We have our final pray and hope strategy that on Saturday No, on Sunday, the MRI buy will reverse us because there is an unreasonably huge gap between 96.5 and the $89,000 support. And I would be very uncomfortable at 89,000 because 89,000 has already been support. So as much as I would love to see massive capitulation over the next 3 days into 89,000, having a third capitulation in less than a month is not a sign of a recovery to the new bull run. So we are on such thin ice right now for a potential move down to the 200-day moving average. And I am still optimistic. I am still optimistic that we will close today above 98.5. I believe that we will close today above 98.5. And remember, we are still right at the line where I infamously sold all my trading positions on November 22nd. And we are already in February. So the price of Bitcoin has gone absolutely nowhere. But if the price of Bitcoin starts closing below 95, I'm putting 79 on the table. And it's weird because the ETFs are continuing buying massive amount of Bitcoin. Well, maybe not massive, but it's still positive inflow, especially into BlackRock. Still positive inflow. It is, we have such a weird dynamic right now. And this price action is making me so uncomfortable. All we have to do is start trading at 100K and everything is great. But trading at 95K opens up some nasty possibilities. Absolutely nasty. So maybe Trump will say something positive. Maybe the state of Arizona will start buying Bitcoin because they're the closest to actually creating a strategic reserve. Lots of good things can happen. We can also review our Max Payne. And Max Payne is calling for, that is, we need to rise about $1.50, which corresponds to about $2,000 on the price of Bitcoin. This is another reason why I'm optimistic that by end of day today, IBIT is going to close above 56, which should get us above 98. Okay, that is our Max Payne. It's at 57.
Well, that's tomorrow,
okay?
though. That's tomorrow, not today. No.
It is tomorrow, but tomorrow is close. Tomorrow is almost today. Tomorrow will be today when we do the show tomorrow. We're getting very close. So it makes me a little optimistic that we're going to have a little bit of a rally. And if we have a big enough rally, then the big monthly Max Payne can move up from 55 up to 58, 59, and then we're in business. Okay, so that is basically what I'm watching. And we're down to a 6-hour window to recover. It was a 36-hour window yesterday. Now it's down to 6 hours. Nothing interesting on oil. Nothing more chart. Nothing interesting on gold. Still bullish, pulling back a smidge. Let's look at the S&P. We have a 5-minute chart. We did not have a 10 a.m. reversal. We had massive consolidation all morning. So no 10 a.m. reversal applies. We can go to the daily chart. Look at this, the S&P. The S&P is still alive. We are alive. I actually do want to look at NVIDIA today because I'm curious. Let's move down the list. Nothing really. I don't want to wait. iShares, I'm waiting for a higher close. And that is Bitcoin dominance. Highest Bitcoin dominance in about 4 years. That's a good sign. Shitcoins are not doing well. That's a good sign. And I want to look at a couple of stocks out of curiosity because it's been a while. How is Tesla doing? Wow. I did not expect this. I did not expect this. However, Trump is canceling the dumb subsidies for electric vehicles. This is a bad sign for Tesla. It breaks new lows. I would be very interested in going short Tesla here. This is a beautiful short play. Yesterday at end of day would have been nice. I hate to chase stocks. Would have been hard for me to short it today. But man, does this look juicy. Oh boy. Does that look like a juicy short? Beautiful descending triangle. Cup and handle. MRI red star on the daily. Wow. Why isn't this a red star on the weekly? I don't know. That should be a red star on the weekly. I may need to look into. Oh, maybe I don't have them turned on. No, I do have them turned on. I don't know why this isn't a red star on the weekly,
You
guys.
got those
That
stupid
is.
hollow candles on.
I like the hollow candles. They tell me information. What about the Chinese version of Tesla? They are actually holding in there. Look at that. That's a slight bullish trend. If this breaks the Lucid SAR, that could be interesting. Meta has been on fire, and it continues to be on fire. Microsoft is, I don't like it. NVIDIA, let's see if Tone was right. I made the call that NVIDIA was going to make a lower low than the panic low, and it did. Not as low as I would have expected, but my initial thing, because I told a friend who was trying to catch this, catching a falling knife right here, I said, in my experience, on this candle, I would never buy this candle because in my experience, 90% of the time you will get a lower opportunity to buy it. You did get a lower opportunity to buy it, but that opportunity was only on one day, which I was technically correct. But assuming that you're only going to get one chance to buy it lower is it's one of those accurate calls that probably would not have gotten me into a trade. So it's like one of those moral victories where I was right, but at the same time, this is not the kind of candle that I'm buying either. So at the moment, I have nothing to say on NVIDIA. I'm actually bullish here. I think this is a clean run-up, and this is likely to be the low. We got a green star candle on the daily, and the weekly is not very beautiful, strong candle on the weekly, avoiding the break of the MRI support line. I think NVIDIA is done. AMD, on the other hand, did not react nicely to the monthly MRI top. So I would not be long NVIDIA here, but earnings is coming, or earnings came and went. Earnings was positive, but the stock still fell. They beat on revenue and they beat on earnings. They beat on both. Not a lot of revenue. Good volume. Decent candle. Completed the MRI extension B off of the MRI daily buy. There may be something here in AMD, but I would wait for a green star weekly candle. If you can get a green star weekly in consolidation, I'm not going to nibble on this trade, but it has a minor potential. I heard MSTR rebranded and they removed the word micro. I don't know. I'm enjoying the island. This does not look like a bullish chart at all. This is starting to look like a descending triangle. No, not on the daily. On the weekly it is. So maybe it's not a descending triangle. I don't know, guys. I have concerns, to say the least. And what the hell was this? It's earnings season. Look at this. Look at what Apple did. Apple beat across the board. Very small revenue increase. And it just got annihilated. Man, I hate these candles. I remember my last story and and then we're calling it a day. This just triggered a bad memory. I remember I was in this triangle trade on Amazon. I forgot how many years ago this was. We're talking at least a decade. And my trade, literally, Amazon blew earnings like this. Let me go to a 5-minute chart on Apple here. It crushed it. Absolutely crushed it. My portfolio at the opening bell was up. We're not talking my trade. We're talking my portfolio was up 20% overnight. I mean, the trade was bigger than it should have been. The trade was like 20% of my portfolio, but the trade was up, like, because it was an options leverage trade, and my portfolio was up 20%. So that means that the trade was up 100% on a 20% trade. And this is I mean, it's a portfolio. It was over $100,000 portfolio. It was significant money. And then it started to drop. And I'm like, okay, well, it's just dropping at the opening. I'll sell it on the bounce. I'll sell it on the bounce. I'll sell it on the bounce. And I watched my portfolio go from up 20%. And by the end of day, my portfolio was down 5%. Off of one trade. And it was exactly like this. It was actually worse than this, because here you went down the day before. Here in my trade, it was like this. It was up, 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 and then it closed right there. And I'm like, just give me, like honestly, if the stock would have gapped to here, and at 10 a.m. it would have been here, I would have walked away up 10% on my portfolio on one short trade. But instead, my portfolio was up 20%, and by the end of that day, it was down 5%, because my plan was to sell, just let it, it's opening in my direction, it's gonna go up for like, just give me 5-10 more minutes of upside, let me squeeze another $1,000, and I'm out. And I just watched it go down. And these are some of the lessons that you get when you start trading. And I just, like in this daily chart on Apple, absolutely triggered that memory of what happened to me in the Amazon earnings trade. I'll never find it, because I don't know how many years ago that was, and there's 4 earnings a year. All right, and on that story, we're gonna end the day. Matt, close us out.
Man, I can relate to that story so well. The only thing is I'm a psycho, and as soon as I push close on the trade, I can't recall barely any of trades. I don't recall, even within the week. But there are a handful of trades that, like, in nominal value, I've lost. Like, I've given back hundreds of thousands of dollars.
So,
I've been up 600% and given it all back to break even in short periods of time. I've done it.
And the thing about that makes it, I mean, like, you make it sound like I may sound like this was silly of me to do. Well, Tone, why didn't you just hit market sell. And the thing is, when you are trading a large amount of options, if you understand options, the few of you that are watching this that understand options, and if you don't understand options, by the way, I have an amazing options course for only $1,500. With options, you don't market buy or sell. You enter only limit orders because you always get filled in between the spread. But if you keep entering in between the spread and the price keeps moving against you, you get totally screwed, because then you got to move it again and again and again, because I just can't force myself to pay the ask, or to buy at the ask and to sell at the bid. Because imagine if you had to buy Bitcoin on a 2% spread all the time, and you know for a fact that if all you have to do is put in an order in between the 2%, and they will always fill you at 1%. The problem is, every time you put in your order at 1%, within half a second before you did that, the price dropped a bit. And now you got to do it again, and it dropped a bit. And if it keeps happening forever, you're going to watch a 10% up trade on your portfolio. Guys, I know a crypto portfolio can move 10% in a day. Traditional retirement accounts don't move 10% in a day. If they do, you're either an incredible trader that knows what he's doing, or waiting for a disaster. And that's why I'll never forget this trade. All right, guys, close up.
Thank you so much for joining. The price of Bitcoin in the last 4 hours, and in this 4-hour candle, so it's only been in the last 20 minutes, has come up and retouched exactly on the 7 simple moving average, and is now making its way lower. It's to the dollar. So I'm going to put a break-even stop in. And perhaps this is one of those trades where I was up 60%, not in portfolio. Thank God. And it'll come back to break even.
Matt, so I would, if I was to make a stop loss, you know what? I'm going to jump on screen share for 1 second.
Yeah.
If I was to put a stop loss in, it would be at 96,890. That would be my stop loss.
Well, it's 1:30 in the morning here in Tokyo, and I will be doing that. Have a great night. See you all tomorrow. Let's hope we can recover.
All right, I'm going to leave this line here, and this way I will know by tomorrow morning. Oops, hold on. I need to go to 10 minutes. I will know during my day if Matt's stop loss got hit.
What'd you say? At 96,800, was it?
890.
I'm going to do that just for fun.
96,890. It might get hit within 5 seconds, though.
Well, I mean, I would still make money on that trade, to be honest. I'd still make 10%, so it's all right. All right. Good night.
All right. Night, guys.
Bye-bye.